The National Electrical Code, or NEC, does not permit the use of Type NM cable in commercial buildings. The use of Type NM cable is specifically restricted to residential applications only. This restriction is clearly stated in NEC Article 334.10, which specifies that Type NM cable shall be used only in accordance with the provisions outlined in Article 334 and other relevant articles within the code that cover specific uses. It's crucial to understand that the NEC is a comprehensive set of standards designed to ensure electrical safety, and it meticulously outlines the permitted uses for various types of wiring and cabling. The intention behind these regulations is to match the appropriate wiring method to the specific demands and environmental conditions of different building types. Commercial buildings typically have different requirements than residential buildings, including increased fire resistance, greater durability, and the capacity to handle higher electrical loads. Type NM cable, which stands for non-metallic sheath cable, is designed primarily for use in dry, residential locations. Its construction and materials are not suitable for the more demanding conditions often found in commercial buildings. The NEC does not provide any specific article or exception that would allow for the use of Type NM cable in commercial buildings. Therefore, it is imperative for electrical contractors, engineers, and inspectors to adhere strictly to the code's limitations regarding the use of NM cable. Using NM cable in a commercial setting would be a direct violation of the NEC and could result in serious safety hazards, including fire, electrical shock, and other potential dangers. Furthermore, such a violation could lead to significant legal and financial repercussions. To elaborate further on why NM cable is not permitted in commercial buildings, it's important to consider the differences in construction and occupancy between residential and commercial structures. Commercial buildings often have more stringent fire resistance requirements. They are frequently constructed with materials that are designed to slow the spread of fire and provide occupants with more time to evacuate. Type NM cable, with its non-metallic sheathing, does not offer the same level of fire resistance as other wiring methods that are specifically approved for commercial use. In addition, commercial buildings tend to have higher occupancy rates than residential buildings, which increases the potential risk in the event of a fire or other electrical emergency. The NEC takes these factors into account when establishing regulations for wiring and cabling. The code prioritizes safety and aims to minimize the risk of electrical hazards in all types of buildings. To ensure compliance with the NEC in commercial buildings, it is essential to use wiring methods that are specifically approved for commercial use. Some common examples of approved wiring methods for commercial buildings include electrical metallic tubing, or IMT, also known as conduit, rigid metal conduit, or RMC, intermediate metal conduit, or IMC, and armored cable, or AC. These wiring methods offer greater protection against physical damage, moisture, and fire, and they are designed to withstand the more demanding conditions that are typically encountered in commercial environments. When selecting a wiring method for a commercial building, it is important to consult the NEC and any applicable local codes and regulations. These codes will provide detailed guidance on the types of wiring methods that are permitted for specific applications, as well as any additional requirements that may need to be met. It is also advisable to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or inspector to ensure that the selected wiring method is appropriate for the specific building and its intended use. In summary, the NEC strictly prohibits the use of Type NM cable in commercial buildings. This prohibition is based on the need to ensure electrical safety and to match the appropriate wiring method to the specific demands and environmental conditions of different building types. Electrical contractors, engineers, and inspectors must adhere strictly to the NEC regulations regarding the use of NM cable and other wiring methods to prevent electrical hazards and to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Remember that the National Electrical Code is updated regularly, typically every 3 years, to reflect advancements in technology and to address emerging safety concerns. It is crucial to stay informed about the latest edition of the NEC and any relevant amendments or interpretations that may affect electrical installations. Proper adherence to the NEC is not only a matter of legal compliance, but also a fundamental responsibility to protect the safety of people and property. Continuing education and professional development are essential for electrical professionals to stay up to date on the latest codes and best practices. Furthermore, consider the potential consequences of misinterpreting or disregarding the NEC. Incorrect wiring installations can lead to a range of problems, from minor inconveniences to life-threatening hazards. Electrical fires, for instance, can cause extensive property damage, injuries, and even fatalities. Electrical shock can also result in serious injuries or death. In addition to the physical risks, non-compliance with the NEC can also result in significant financial penalties, including fines, legal fees, and the cost of correcting the improper installation. Insurance companies may also deny coverage for damages caused by non-compliant electrical work. Therefore, it is always best to err on the side of caution and to ensure that all electrical installations are performed in accordance with the NEC and all other applicable codes and regulations. If you are unsure about any aspect of the NEC or the proper way to install electrical wiring, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or inspector. These professionals have the knowledge and experience to provide accurate guidance and to ensure that your electrical installations are safe and compliant. Moreover, remember that the NEC is a complex and comprehensive document, and it can be challenging to interpret and apply correctly without proper training and experience. Therefore, it is essential to invest in quality training and education to develop the necessary skills and knowledge to perform electrical work safely and effectively. There are many resources available to help electrical professionals stay up to date on the NEC and best practices, including courses, seminars, workshops, and online resources. Take advantage of these resources to enhance your skills and knowledge and to ensure that you are always performing electrical work to the highest standards of safety and quality. To further emphasize the importance of adhering to the NEC, consider the potential impact of non-compliance on the reputation of electrical contractors and other professionals. A single instance of improper wiring or code violation can damage a company's reputation and lead to a loss of business. Customers expect electrical professionals to be knowledgeable, skilled, and trustworthy, and they are unlikely to hire someone who has a history of code violations or unsafe practices. Therefore, it is essential to prioritize safety and compliance in all aspects of your work to maintain a positive reputation and to build trust with your customers. In addition to the specific prohibition against using NM cable in commercial buildings, the NEC also contains many other regulations that are relevant to commercial electrical installations. These regulations cover a wide range of topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, bonding, and equipment installation. It is essential to be familiar with all of these regulations to ensure that your electrical installations are safe, compliant, and reliable. Some of the key NEC articles that are relevant to commercial electrical installations include Article 210, which covers branch circuits, Article 220, which covers load calculations, Article 230, which covers service entrances, Article 250, which covers grounding and bonding, Article 300, which covers wiring methods, and Article 400, which covers flexible cords and cables. These articles provide detailed requirements for the installation of electrical wiring and equipment in commercial buildings, and it is essential to follow these requirements carefully to ensure compliance with the NEC. In addition to the NEC, many local jurisdictions also have their own electrical codes and regulations. These local codes may be more stringent than the NEC, and it is essential to be familiar with them to ensure that your electrical installations are compliant with all applicable requirements. Local electrical inspectors are responsible for enforcing these codes, and they have the authority to require corrections to any electrical work that does not comply with the applicable codes. Therefore, it is always best to consult with the local electrical inspector before starting any electrical work to ensure that you are aware of all the applicable requirements. Finally, it is important to remember that electrical safety is everyone's responsibility. Electrical contractors, engineers, inspectors, and building owners all have a role to play in ensuring that electrical installations are safe and compliant. By working together and by adhering to the NEC and all other applicable codes and regulations, we can create safer and more reliable electrical systems for everyone. Let's consider a hypothetical scenario to illustrate the importance of adhering to the NEC regulations regarding NM cable. Imagine a small business owner who is renovating a retail space. To save money, the business owner decides to hire an unlicensed contractor who is willing to use NM cable for the wiring, even though it is a commercial building. The contractor installs the NM cable throughout the retail space, unaware of the NEC prohibition against using NM cable in commercial buildings. A few months later, a fire breaks out in the retail space due to an electrical fault in the NM cable. The fire spreads quickly, causing extensive damage to the building and its contents. Fortunately, no one is injured, but the business owner suffers a significant financial loss. In this scenario, the use of NM cable in the commercial building was a direct violation of the NEC, and it contributed to the fire. If the contractor had followed the NEC and used an approved wiring method for commercial buildings, the fire may have been prevented. This hypothetical scenario highlights the importance of adhering to the NEC regulations and the potential consequences of non-compliance. Electrical safety is not something to be taken lightly, and it is essential to follow all applicable codes and regulations to protect people and property. In conclusion, the NEC strictly prohibits the use of Type NM cable in commercial buildings. This prohibition is based on the need to ensure electrical safety and to match the appropriate wiring method to the specific demands and environmental conditions of different building types. Electrical contractors, engineers, and inspectors must adhere strictly to the NEC regulations regarding the use of NM cable and other wiring methods to prevent electrical hazards and to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Remember to stay informed about the latest edition of the NEC and any relevant amendments or interpretations that may affect electrical installations. Proper adherence to the NEC is not only a matter of legal compliance but also a fundamental responsibility to protect the safety of people and property.